Welcome to this explainer from the Foundry by Forge College. Today, we're diving into the ultimate architectural blueprint for smart wallets, ERC-4337. Look, if you've ever been frustrated by the clunky UX of traditional Web3 wallets, sweating over unpredictable gas fees or nervously quadruple checking an address, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down how this standard completely rewires who constructs, who validates, and honestly, who pays for a blockchain transaction. It's a fundamental shift, and it's a completely fascinating engineering marvel. Okay, we've got a packed agenda today. We'll start with the classic transaction model, move into what is account abstraction, meet the ERC-4337 actors, explore the invoice metaphor, trace the transaction flow, and finally wrap up with why this matters. Section 1. The classic transaction model, the rigid EOA approach. So coming off your previous lesson on architecture, patterns, and integration, you're already familiar with standard externally owned accounts, right? Well, using this classic EOA model is kind of like needing exact change for a toll booth in the absolute middle of nowhere. It's rigid, it's unforgiving, and if you don't have exactly what you need in native tokens, you're stuck on the side of the road. In this model, the private key basically is the account. But account abstraction, that completely changes the game. It totally separates the wallet's behavior from the underlying address. So instead of those frustrating, hard-coded rules, we get highly flexible programmed logic.
Section 2. What is account abstraction and how are we redefining the rules?
So how do we actually fix this rigid system and decouple the account from the private key? Well, account abstraction simply means we let smart contract code make the rules. Instead of the blockchain protocol forcing a single type of cryptographic signature, your wallet itself becomes a smart contract. That means your wallet can now accept things like a multi-party signature, a social recovery process, or even biometric approvals like Face ID. Saving you from having to guard a single piece of paper with your seed phrase on it like some paranoid 17th century pirate. You're essentially turning your wallet into a highly customizable software application.
Section 3. Meet the ERC-4337 actors. The cast of characters.
To make all this magic actually happen, ERC-4337 introduces a few new mechanical components to our system architecture. First up in our new cast of characters is the user operation. You could think of this as a highly detailed pseudo-transaction. It replaces the standard raw transaction by wrapping up your exact intent, your gas limits, and your unique signature proofs into one neat, serialized package. It tells the network exactly what you want your smart wallet to do on your behalf.
Then we have the EntryPoint. Now this is the canonical on-chain contract that acts as the absolute ultimate judge. Because wallets are now smart contracts with their own arbitrary logic, the network desperately needs a standardized way to handle them safely, and the EntryPoint is that standard. It meticulously coordinates how these user operations are actually validated and executed by the protocol. It ensures that gas fees are properly accounted for and security is maintained across the entire board.
Section 4. The invoice metaphor, a mental blueprint.
To really grasp how these components interact without getting completely lost in the technical weeds, we're going to use a logistics metaphor. I want you to start thinking of every single transaction moving forward as having two distinct linked parts. First, you have the invoice, which is your user operation. That outlines exactly what you want done and how you've authorized it. Second, you have the final job ticket, which is the actual entry point call executed on the blockchain. So the invoice captures your intent, and the job ticket represents the official recorded execution.
Let's map out the rest of the crew in this mental blueprint. Your user operation is the invoice, right? Well, your smart wallet acts as the internal procurement policy, basically checking to see if that invoice is actually valid. And the bundler, that's your logistics provider. They collect invoices from a bunch of different users, package them into a single delivery truck, and pay the initial shipping fees. The entry point is the final dispatcher receiving the delivery and routing the tasks. And finally, the paymaster. That's a generous sponsor who might actually step in to cover your shipping fees, which enables completely gasless transactions. This separation of roles is a foundational concept we explore deeply across our various Forge College learning programs, simply because it completely rewires how you build user experiences.
Section 5. The transaction flow, step-by-step operations. All right, let's put these mechanical actors into motion and trace the high-level workflow. The whole process actually kicks off off-chain. First, you, or a decentralized app acting on your behalf, constructs the invoice. That's the user operation. You define exactly what you want to happen. Then your wallet runs local checks and you sign off on it, approving the invoice based on whatever policy you've set up. Once signed, you hand it off. A bundler, our logistics provider, collects your invoice along with many others, aggregating them to optimize for gas costs and block inclusion. And remember, all of this happens before anything even touches the blockchain.
Next, we move on-chain. The bundler submits this massive batch of operations as a single job ticket to the EntryPoint dispatcher. Now, the EntryPoint doesn't just blindly execute this stuff. It pauses, and it rigorously validates each operation against your wallet's unique, specific policy. It basically asks your wallet, hey, is this valid? If your wallet code says yes, the EntryPoint executes the call and then dynamically settles the gas payment, either routing refunds or charging a paymaster if one was involved. It is honestly a beautifully orchestrated dance of validation and execution.
By breaking it down this way, we can explicitly see who carries liability at every single touchpoint. The wallet is fully responsible for authorization. The bundler takes on the short-term risk of gas bidding and aggregation. The EntryPoint handles the strict policy checks, and the paymaster or bundler manages the complex gas routing. This explicitly separates authorization from payment, which is absolutely key to identifying where things can fail and exactly where you need to build in bulletproof security.
Section 6. Why this matters. The impact.
So you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble to completely redesign the transaction pipeline? Why add bundlers and entry points and paymasters? Well, because the payoff is massive. By separating authorization from payment and by treating your wallet's policy as upgradable, testable code, you unlock some truly incredible user experiences. We're talking about true gasless transactions where a user never needs to hold native tokens just to use an app. We're talking about social recovery, where trusted friends can help you restore access to your funds if you lose your phone. We can finally build Web3 applications that feel as smooth and forgiving as traditional Web2 apps, all while maintaining absolute cryptographic security and explicit observability at every single touchpoint.
But that actually brings up a fascinating question. If the EntryPoint handles all this execution across so many different wallets simultaneously, how did the low-level gas accounting and validation mechanics actually run securely under the hood without breaking the network? Well, that perfectly sets the stage for your next lesson on the detailed ERC-4337 mechanics. But until then, I strongly encourage you to visit forge.college to dive deeper into this explainer, explore other courses in the Web3 architecture track, and master the future of smart wallets. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.